Hi. Hi everyone. Hello. Welcome to day 2 of Find Your Inner Magic. I'll give people a second just to join. And if you are joining, just pop a comment in. Let me know how you're doing after last night's session. Say hi. Let me know how you are. And hopefully you're feeling good today. Oh, we've got someone joined. If you just pop a comment in and say hi. There's a slight delay on them coming through, so bear with me. But hope you're okay. I've got a problem with my bra. Hi Mandy, you alright? How are you feeling after last night? You feeling good? We'll just give people a second to join, see if people are coming. I know I've had a few texts to say they can't join tonight, but they're going to get the replay, so that's fine. All of the energy is exactly the same in the replay as you get in the lives as well, so don't feel like you're missing out on anything. If you just joined, pop a comment in, say hi, see how you are. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight. But no, I've seen everybody doing the homework and what they're popping in and things, and all the intentions and things they're letting go is amazing. Hi Oswald. It's been a busy day. Oh, well, we've got more good stuff for you tonight, Oswald, so you'll be nice and zen by the end of it. I think there's somebody else on as well. If you just want to pop a comment in and say hi, and then I can see who's on. Hi Denise, it's you. I needed to scroll down. Me and technology. I'm using a different web browser and I'm normally used to Safari and I'm like, oh, I don't really know what's going on here. So there's someone else joined, so just say hi in the comments. So did everybody get to do the meditation last night, and let me know how you felt and if you've had anything come through today? I know someone said they've had a dream last night that's clarified loads of things for them, so that was good. So just anything that's come up for you, I'd love to know. And then we can dive into tonight's session, which is all about connecting to your power, which is an interesting one. And what I like to do is obviously each one's a bit on mindset and then a bit into your intuition. So for me, there's a magical blend between the two, and you've got to have one with the other. And I just think it goes really well. So having the mindset and the things that come up and then letting your spiritual side help release them is what I find helps and helps you connect to them more. So I'll just give everyone a second and then we'll dive in if you're ready. So how are you all feeling about tonight's? Have you set your intention for the week? Do you know how you want to feel by the end of it? Just let me know. And then we'll dive in. So, right, I think that's about everybody joining for now so people can catch up. Right, so last night we talked about how you accept where you are in the journey and kind of draw a line on the past if you can, which is easier said than done, I know, and there's a lot of things to that, and I'd love to go into it all with you, but obviously we just get about an hour of a night. So, hiya Casey. So, obviously, if big things did come up for you, just hold on to them and hopefully we can see how you feel by the end of the week, see if things have shifted. But tonight's session, I want to talk about connecting to your power. Now, last night we touched on how we give our power away. And we do that by holding on to the past, letting the past define us, letting things from the past control us. And this is common that we do all of the time. But when I'm saying about connecting to your power, I want you to really think about tonight how we do give that away free willingly as well. We do it from a point of view because it's the way that we're brought up. Now, I'll go through this with you in a bit more detail, but it's things like, do you have clear boundaries? So when you think about when you're interacting with people and you're interacting with family, friends, do you often have a boundary that you think, I'm not happy you've just done that, but I'm not going to say it because it's not right to upset that person? Or do you worry about what people will think, so you go along with things? These are common things that we do all the time, but how often do you say yes to things when you actually want to say no? That's a huge one that we all do. We people please, we try and just appease everyone around us, and often to the detriment of ourselves. And what we do there is we're actually saying that our opinion and our emotions aren't as important because we're just trying to please this person that's in front of us asking us to do something. So can you all relate to that? Have you all been a people pleaser at some point, or said yes when really you just want to say no? And it could be to so many things. But even just saying yes when you know that you've got loads of things to do, but you know you're going to put this other person's needs before yours, that's an unhealthy boundary. And even though it feels like we're trying to be nice and we're trying to be, that nice person that you brought up to be, what you're actually saying is, my time, my energy, my needs are second to yours. And that energy gets put out to the universe, and what the universe sees and what the universe feels from you, because it works on what our subconscious is feeling. And if our subconscious is taken in that their needs are more important than ours, then it's giving you more of that back. So how much have you felt that you're giving all the time, and you just seem to get all these people who just want to take from you? You have these people who just want to suck the life out of you but give you nothing back. And it's because we're not setting these clear boundaries with people. We're not saying that we are important. So, it's about looking at your life and thinking, where am I doing that? Where am I putting myself second? Where am I not setting clear boundaries? And it's not about being nasty or anything like that. It's just saying, I'm sorry I can't do that today, but I can help you tomorrow. Or I don't have time to do that yet. Or actually, I don't want to do that. You're allowed to say, I don't want to do that. And we're not taught that as kids. We're brought up just to be good, be that good girl, be that good boy. Don't cause a fuss. And if you say you don't want to do something, it's like you're being hard work. You're that kid that's, a bit spoiled, the hard work one. Well, you're not. You're just speaking your truth. And have you ever felt that when you really say yes and you mean no, and you get that frog in your throat, and it's like, I didn't want to do that. And that's because this frog that you get here and this clagging of your throat is because you're not speaking your truth. So you're not actually being true to yourself, and that's coming out in your throat chakra, and it's all linked. So it's something to bear in mind if you're a serial people pleaser. Think about how you can start to draw some boundaries. And people might get a shock around you at first. It's not usual if you're always the one that says yes all the time. But that's for them to deal with. You just keep in your lane and doing you. I don't know whether you listened to my podcast in the last series with Britt Carmichael, but she talked about one of her rules that her and her husband brought up was the 7 out of 10 rule. Now, he said to her one day, I think they were meant to be going to her family's house for like a celebration, but it was just a family meal really. And he said, do you really want to go? And she was like, no, I don't. And he said, well, 7 out of, give me a number out of 10. How much do you want to go? And she went, about a 6. And he was like, well, I just don't think we should do anything in our life if it's not a 7 or above. Give it a 7 out of 10 and we'll do it. And if it's not a 7 out of 10, then why should we do it? And, just to put that rule on and to say how refreshing that if this isn't going to bring me joy, why am I doing it? And how could anybody in the group relate to that? Could you feel like, how much stuff are you doing that doesn't actually bring joy to your life? I don't know whether the comments have gone quiet, so I don't know whether they're feeding through, but please just let me know if that's the case, because I know there's so many things that I was doing that I was just doing for the sake of it. And then the more you do and the more you feel low because you're doing things for everybody else and nothing for yourself, that vibe is going out to that universe and it's creating more of it. So, think about what boundaries are you setting for yourself? And like I said, this all comes from how we've been conditioned, how our society works, how we've been brought up. And I talk about this in a podcast, that Magic Thievery one. I don't know whether anybody's heard it, but it's the things that we talked about last night, where you've got this fear of the future and the fear of the unknown. That comes from when you're a child, when everybody's trying to protect you and they're like, don't touch that, or come back. And as a kid, because your brain's like a sponge, you don't actually know what's the next thing that's going to happen. You just know that somebody's scared and they're pulling you back from something. So that gives you that fear of the unknown. And that's where that comes from. So we're taught that as kids, but also we're taught these boundaries and how people encroach in them. So when you think of being a kid, like I said, if you put your foot down and you say, no, I don't want to do that, you're the one having the tantrum, you're the one being awkward. It's not like the adults listen to you and go, oh, well done for speaking your truth. No one does that. They're like, no, I'm telling you to do this, so do it. And that's when your power starts to disintegrate. We start to learn from a young age that we're not meant to be able to control this. We're not meant to be the ones in control. And it all comes from a place of love. It's not from a place of, I want to control you. It's how all of our parents were brought up. It's how society works. It's just how we need to be with kids sometimes to keep the peace and keep everything going. It's not a case of anything's done from a place of badness or anything like that. It's just natural. But because we're like sponges at that age, we just soak everything up, and we're just told that our opinion doesn't count, our emotions don't count. And you think of kids and they start to cry and feel their emotions, and we don't say, why are you upset? We say, oh, come on, don't cry, you're all right. And we kind of brush it under the carpet. So then we learn this thing that your emotions don't really, you just shove them away. You don't talk about them. You don't feel them. You just try and forget them as quick as possible. Oswald said, that's me when I'm not writing, bending over backwards to keep. Yeah, and not pissed off at me. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? And I think the more you give, Oswald, the more people take and the more people expect. And you're just creating this momentum and this flow of giving. And sometimes we've got to break that for ourselves and say, I am the one that's important here. And that's not being selfish, but there's only one person living your life. And I do talk about this in some of my other podcasts and things, but, we are the lead role in our lives. And it might not feel it sometimes, but there's only us who can take that place back. We give it out to everybody around us. Anybody with kids will give it to them. Anyone with, partners will give it to them. I give my lead role to my husband for many, many years, and I just did. It was his emotions before mine. We just had to keep him happy, keep him steady, keep him on a level pegging. And I just fought on in the background, and that was just the way that I was brought up. I was brought up that we just look after our husbands. We make sure they're all right. We make sure, their needs are taken care of. And that was how I was brought up. I had seen it from my grandma. I've seen it from my mum. And even though I felt like, I was never going to be like my grandma, giving everything to this man, I ended up like that myself without even realising. And it's just because it's this conditioned behaviour within us. And until we start to see these patterns that we've become accustomed to and see how detrimental they can be for us, not in, they're not ruining everything, but they're holding us back and stopping us moving forward. And when you think of this is all about finding your inner magic, what I'm talking about is peeling back these layers to see who is it inside and what do you want to do? You know, what do you want to feel good with? What do you want to say yes to? And do we know that a lot of the time? Because often we do all this stuff because we think we should. So I hope that resonates with you. There's the other issue as well, that we're in this real male dominated world, and that can be hard for both of the sexes, not just women. It can be hard for men as well. And what it does is we're brought up to think this powerful, strong, keeping all your emotions down, really powering through, setting goals, striving, working long hours. That is the way to move forward. And, you know, standing over people in work, just not, you know, that type of behaviour is what we've been brought up, is what gets ahead. So when you're feeling out of place and you don't feel like you fit in that world, or you don't want to be in that world, for me personally, when I was a bank manager, I had to be in that world. I had to be very driven. I had to be very goal orientated. I had to push people who worked for me. And it wasn't about what was best for them or how they felt. It was about how many insurances have you sold this week? And it just was a very driven environment. And it ended up that I ended up being a completely different person to what I wanted to be. And I felt out of alignment. I felt out of sync. I was working long hours. I didn't have a lot of fun outside of work. It was like work was everything. And it just, you can do that for so long, but it doesn't fit. And even these people who are working to these old models and these old behaviours and thinking this masculine attitude is the way to be, it's not. And you need that balance. You need the masculine with the feminine. You need the yang, you need the yin, you know, you need the balance. And when you look at even males in this world, if you don't fit that mold, if you don't fit this masculine energy, then you're thought of as not as good. And it just shifts this balance, and we can be trying to fit this mold all of the time, but it sets us out of alignment with what we are underneath and what we want to be and the type of person we want to be. So I don't know whether any of you can relate to that and feel like sometimes everybody around you has a kind of different agenda that you don't want to fit with, and it's been heavy on you, or you feel like you don't fit in certain situations. That can be because of this difference in the energies that we want to portray. And that again can make us feel like we don't have control, we don't fit in, so we feel unconfident, and it can just knock us off our power. It can make us feel low and just out of sorts because we're trying to fit in somewhere that we just don't fit. I'm just looking at the comments. So I was one of those people, and when I tried to express any emotion as a child, I was told that men need to be strong and don't cry. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Oswald. And that, you know, I think it's only been probably this last couple of years that I've heard it being okay that men talk about their emotions. And I think there's a big push with mental health and men being okay to do that. But for years it's been, you know, pushed down, and we see that. So I think when we're in that situation, as well as the women, we know that men are like that, and then we try and pander to them a bit, and we try and make them feel safe, and even though their emotions are like pushing down and they're like, no, we can't show emotion. So it's knocked everything a bit out of sync. And when you come into this world, we don't have any of that going on. You know, as we come in as a baby, you just, a soul put in the body. This is my belief. I don't know whether anybody else believes this, but you don't have any of this conditioning. You're like this free being, and then we get taught it over time, and this stuff just naturally we pick it up as we go along, and it depends on our culture, to what you're exposed to. And this is just where we are at the minute. You know, this is our way of being. But for me, the more we can connect into who we truly are and start to believe in that we can create this life that we want. We don't have to live in this normal, vanilla, bland life that we've all been told is the norm. We have a choice in it. And how amazing is that? We're actually told that you just go to work, you grow up, you go to school, you might go to uni, then you get a job, and then you have kids, and then that's it. And that's the expectation, and that's what life should be. And if you get a job that you like, then it's an added bonus. But actually, we've got power in this. How amazing is that? We actually have some control over this. We can change things. We can choose how we want to live. And I think the more I want to get this message out, the more we can start to change what's happening and start to set us all free. So let me just catch up. Is there any more comments or any questions on anything I've covered? So I've got a couple of exercises I want to go through tonight, because I think often when we're doing things that doesn't feel in alignment to us, our body knows before our mind does. And our mind can be saying, push it down, but actually the body knows different. So have you ever had that feeling in your body where you feel like this is wrong, this feels wrong? But can you tell me in the comments where you feel that in your body? For me, I get a real feeling in just here in my solar plexus, underneath kind of my sternum. And that's where I get a strong feeling. And I've actually started to learn to tap into that, to give me a yes or a no answer, to help me decipher what I should do in certain situations. But is there any times you've felt that in your body? And if you have, where do you feel it? So I know Lisa, who was on the podcast last week, she gets stomach aches. If she's going out of alignment, she starts to get ill in her stomach. So what are you guys feeling? Is there anything in your body? Mandy's in her stomach, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And do you get a quick reaction as well? Because often when we make a wrong decision, we know in our body it feels wrong, but sometimes we ignore it and use our head instead. Have you done that as well? Just have a think to when you've done that and you've ignored your body. And what I want you to think about is, when I talk about your body having a reaction, because we were cavemen back in the days, our body is the quickest way to react. So if there was some danger coming in, or if it went cold, when it goes cold, you start to shiver, and you start to do that before your brain realizes it's cold. You start to feel it, your hairs start to go on edge. The body actually reacts a lot quicker to you than your mind. Or like an electric shock. Wow, yeah. And that's the thing. So if we learn to tap into where in our body feels good, if we're making a good decision, or where in the body it feels wrong if we're making a bad decision. And this is a really quick way to think about how you can make decisions going forward. So if you just close your eyes and take a deep breath in, and I just want you to think about a time when you knew that you'd made the wrong decision on something. So just a time in your past when you knew you'd said yes to something, but it felt really wrong. So just tap into that feeling of what you felt at the time, and just notice what your body feels like. Just notice what's coming up for you, where you're feeling it, and what it feels like. And just think about that. And then take another deep breath in, and just think about the last time you did something that felt really good. A decision you made that you thought was amazing. And just notice what happens to your body. Where do you feel that? How do you know that's right for you? What feeling are you getting in your body about that decision that was so good for you? Just breathe that in. And then when you're ready, just open your eyes. And if you just pop in the comments, like the difference that you felt, if anything, and did you feel a strong connection with the right thing? Or my face realises the mistake before my body does. Wow, right. That's a good one. So how does your face realise it? What does that feel like, Oswald? That would be a good one to notice. And then how did the positive one feel? Could you tell the difference? Because that's good if we notice the negative, but as well we need to know when we're making them really good decisions, and them decisions where we just really want to do it, and we know with our gut we're doing this whatever because it feels amazing. So what were them feelings like for you? Just let me know in the comments. Wrong fills me with panic. Yeah. So I hope by tapping into these emotions and these feelings that you're getting, what you can start to do is when this comes up for you, you need to pay attention and you need to listen to it. Because that's the thing. So many times we think, no, we don't listen to our body, we listen to our heads. And our heads are filled with loads of nonsense, let's be honest. Our logical mind is filled with other people's words, other people's judgments, our inner critic, our ego. That's everything that comes up in this forefront, in this mind. And yet we listen to it more than we listen to our heart. And we've been taught that, don't go with your heart, it's not the sensible decision. How many people have heard that, heart over head? Well, no, that would be silly. You've got to go with your head. And what I'm telling you is, no, go with your heart, go with your gut. Right feels calm. That's good, Mandy. So yeah, it's a completely different way of thinking to what we've been brought up to think. And this is what people can struggle to get their heads around, because all this finding your inner magic for me is about connecting you back in with that person, that wisdom, that soul who knows exactly what's right and can give you guidance in an instance. So now I know how to tap into stuff. I know how to get answers to questions and things like that. And it's so much easier because I feel like I don't have to make all the decisions on my own. I feel comforted. I feel like there's someone there helping me. Someone with a wiser head than me is giving me this information. And we can all do that because we've all got this. Everyone who's been on this chat has been able to come up with how their body reacts. And that's the first bit. Your intuition will come through like a ton of bricks. If you're making a wrong decision, you'll be able to feel it in every bone in your body. But we don't often listen to it. And then what the mind can do as well is when you're making a right decision and it feels all good, it can fill you with that doubt, and it can fill you with the what if, no, this not might work, this not might work. And then because we're listening to the bits in our head, we then feel the negative in our body because we're listening to that. And what that's saying is the negative's coming up in your body because it's saying, don't listen to this bit. Don't listen to this that's trying to talk you out of it. So it's coming as a warning signal, but we often interpret it wrong. Hopefully that makes sense. It feels terrible when the negative is known and panic takes over. But when the positive moment happens, the body becomes joyful. Yeah. And then, Oswald, like you said yesterday, you feel like that joy doesn't last long enough. So you've got this inner belief going on. So you'll feel this joyful feeling, and then your trigger with this joy doesn't last will hit you like a ton of bricks, and then you might feel that doubt creep in. So what you've got to do is really home into that, no, this felt good. The first time I thought about this, what did I get? And you can reset your body as well, so you can think, right, if I do this, what feeling am I getting, and just quiet your mind and tap into your body again, and then you'll get the right answer. Because I think when we let the mind take over, the body's trying to say, no, no, don't listen to it. And often you can get that pit in your stomach that feels like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. When actually what your body's saying is, yes, yes, yes. Don't listen to your head. So I hope that helps. Bit confusing, but once you try and suss out how your body's trying to talk to you, you'll get the feeling of what you're meant to do, because all that is intuition. It's your intuition coming through, it's your guidance, it's your higher self, it's the people who know exactly what you should be doing and why. But we're filled with all this nonsense conditioning that we listen to more than we listen to our gut. So hopefully that helps you connecting with, that's your power in a sense. And we're going to do a meditation now that's going to take us a bit deeper into that. But how do you feel about that? Does that feel like a bit of a revelation for you of how to connect in like that? Or is it something you were aware of? Or how does that feel? And is there anything you want me to go over? Because we've covered quite a bit in there when we've talked about boundaries, setting healthy boundaries for yourself. And I'm so passionate about this one because I think for years I just give and give and give to people. And now I know about the law of attraction and how it works and how your energy works that you're putting out. That was the energy I was putting out. So I was just giving and giving and exhausted myself to the point where it was like, well, that's what I'm attracting back. Just people who want to take all of the time. And that was, so the scenario I was putting out there of giving this energy, giving my time, people were there and like, yeah, I'll take it. And then the universe was bringing me more of it. Yeah, you want this, you're saying you want it, you're saying you're not good enough to have it for yourself, you're just going to give it to everybody else. So yeah, I'll bring you people that are going to do that. And that was me creating that momentum and creating that flow. And we all do that. We all do it. And it's such a bad habit, but we're brought up to be people pleasers. Aware of, but sometimes I can ignore. Yeah. So Mandy, there's an action for you. Stop ignoring that. Stop listening to the head part and tap into the heart. And I did pull a card for tonight. So I pulled 2 cards for tonight actually, because I wanted a different one from a different pack. And we got some good ones. So we got expansion, which, gone the wrong way. So I don't know whether you can see that, but there's like a woman here who for me is kind of a spirit guide. And she's holding out her hand at the bottom. I don't know whether you can see this very well. But it's basically what we're doing. And these hot air balloons are all the ideas that are going to start to come, all the creativity that's going to start to come. And it's like this woman is bringing you all this guidance, and there's flow with the waterfall. And what that's saying is that we're at this point of expansion and everything's going to start to flow. And we've just got to give into it and let it all grow. Because the fact that you've even signed up to this and you're tapping more into your intuition just brings so much energy to it. And it's such a good thing to say, yes, I am going to commit to this week. So, just wait to see what comes off the back of it. It's going to be amazing. And then we also got Unbound, which is very much what we're doing. So this is all about releasing soul patterns, I can't say that word. I can, but releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So when we're thinking about what I was saying about breaking these conditioned behaviours that we've come to know and learn and use them subconsciously all the time, it's time to break them now. It's time to let them go and live in alignment with what you want to do. So this is an amazing time to start peeling back them layers, breaking the ties with the old, drawing a line on the past and moving forward. So everything we've been talking about, these cards are really, they're coming up and saying, yes, this is the work to do. So it's positive, really positive. So if you're all ready, I want to go into the meditation for tonight. Now, this one is a really healing meditation, so hopefully you'll just feel amazing off the back of it. But I'm going to be asking you some questions. So again, just go with your gut, go with your first instinct. Don't overthink anything. What you feel first is probably the right thing. So just let your mind come up with what it says. Or if you hear it, brilliant. Just whatever way the information comes to you, there's no right or wrong. And it's just going to feel really amazing. We're going to try and connect in with one of your guides or your angels, depending on who wants to come in for you. And you're in a completely safe place. This is just pure light source energy healing. And it's just going to feel amazing. But hopefully I'm going to ask a question to see what you can do to connect to your power more, or how do you claim your power back. So hopefully you're going to come out of the meditation with a really strong answer on how you can move forward and what you need to do. So you got your answer last night. So by the end of the week, hopefully you're going to have a lot of stuff that you can start to, be thinking about and applying, because we'll try and get a bit of a message each night. And I just want to say to you all that, fantastic that you all got messages last night. That was really clear. Everybody got something to work on. And I just want you to trust that, because that's coming from your own guides, your own angels, and that's the message they're trying to get through to you. So it's really powerful stuff that you've all got that. Yes, you joined just at the right time, Laura. We're going to go into the meditation. So you've heard me rambling on about conditioning, which is my favourite subject. Right. I went down the wrong hole. Right. I'm okay. Right, so if you get yourself comfortable and in a seated or lying down position, wherever you like, and if you just take a deep breath in and hold, and then release, and make sure your eyes are closed, and take another deep breath in and release, and then just one more deep breath and release that. And then if you imagine we've got the white light, source energy, coming down from above your crown. And this source energy is just going through your crown chakra. And as you breathe it in, it hits your third eye. And then you take another deep breath and it moves down to your throat. And as it moves through your body, it just clears anything out that doesn't need to be there and realigns all your chakras. So take another deep breath and move it down to your chest for your heart chakra. And then breathe again. Just move it down both of your arms to your fingers. And then another deep breath in. And if you move it down through your body, down your torso, clearing each chakra on the way. Your solar plexus, your second chakra, and your root. And then you just breathe it all in. And as you take another deep breath, you move it down from your hips to your knees. And then another deep breath and move it right down to your toes. So So you're filled with all this golden white light. Just breathe that in. And we're going to imagine them roots coming out of your feet, moving down through the ground, past the rocks, past the crystals, past the underwater rivers and lakes, and through the earth, right down to the centre. And then you connect these roots with that bright ball of gassy energy, all them blues and greens all mixed together. And you let that energy come back up through the roots. And as it comes up, it hits your feet and then merges with that white light in your body. You can just feel it all swirling around, releasing anything that no longer serves you. Just breathe all that energy in. And then you take another deep breath and you imagine you're on the edge of a lake, and the lake's filled with golden liquid, and you can see it shimmering in the moonlight. And you start to walk into the lake, and you can feel all this golden energy just soaking into your body. And you feel like it's healing every cell that it touches. And you end up floating on the top of the lake. And your body's just soaking in all of this golden liquid, all this energy into every cell. And you take a deep breath in. You can feel it just calming your body, healing anywhere that needs healed, aligning everything that you need, letting go of all your worries and concerns, and they're just drifting into the golden liquid and sinking further and further away from you. You just breathe all of this in, and then when you're ready, take a nice deep breath and start to make your way over to the side of the lake. And as you start to come out the lake, there's someone there waiting with a golden cloak to wrap around you. And this cloak feels all soft and warm, and this person feels calm and loving. And just wrap this cloak around you, and then they take you to a bench that's nearby. And you just walk to the bench, and then you both sit down and just look at the lake and the moonlight. And just take a deep breath and ask the person who they are. Go with the first name that comes in your head. See if you can see them. Can you see what they look like? If you can't, don't worry. Just take a deep breath. And if you feel comfortable, ask them what connection they are to you. So are they a guide? Are they an angel? Are they an archangel? Or an ancestor? Who have you got there with you now? And once you have your answer, don't worry if they don't come through. Sometimes it takes a while. But ask them, what can you do to connect to your power? And just trust what comes. Or what do you need to do to claim your power back? Just keep taking deep breaths and see what answers you get. So what can you do to connect to your power? Or what can you do to claim your power back? And if they've given you answers to that, just ask if there's anything else you need to know. Sometimes they might want to show you something. They might want to give you something. Or they might want to say something to you. So just trust what comes. Even if you just sat there together in silence, that might be just what you need. Take another deep breath in. And then if you just thank them for all the information they've given you. And ask them how they want to connect with you in the future. If you've got an answer, just again thank them and say goodbye. Start to walk along the path by the side of the lake. And just look up to the moon and take another deep breath in. And then when you're ready, start to bring yourself back to the room. Start wiggling your fingers and your toes. Moving your body. And slowly open your eyes. And then when you're ready, pop in the chat what that was like. Any answers you got. Anything that come through would be great to hear. How you're feeling. Did you actually get to hear the guide's name? Was it a guide? Was it an angel? Was it an ancestor? I know it took me a long time to be able to see my guides. So I always knew they were there. I felt a presence. I felt like I could describe the man, because I have a really tall guide. He normally wears like a brown cloak, and he's called Elijah. And he's been with me, I think, from birth. And I feel his presence all the time when I go into meditations. But it took me a long time to really be able to picture him and see what he looked like. And it just was always as if he just sat next to me, and I knew he was there. I felt his presence, I felt his energy, but I couldn't see him. I could never see him. It was like, it was just too early to see him. So what did you guys get? Let me know. How did it feel for you? Are you all asleep as well? Because that golden lake is so relaxing. I love doing that meditation. It's so healing. So please let me know. Are you completely overwhelmed from tonight? Because there's been a lot covered. A lot of things that kind of go against the grain as well. So when we're thinking about this stuff all the time, it's hard to hear that, you know, some of our beliefs that we've brought up with don't serve us as well as they could. And, you know, it is hard to hear that sometimes. It's hard to get your head round. You were enjoying that till your kids interrupted you. Do it again in the morning. Yeah, Laura, do it anytime. Obviously, you can listen to it. Mandy felt someone there, but don't know who. Did you get any other questions answered, Mandy? So was there anything that you were told to do to claim your power back or connect with your power? Did that answer anything else? It is a good one to kind of repeat this meditation as well. So I'll be putting these lives, they'll be available for about 10 days. So yeah, if people want to tap back into them, do them at another time, it's always advisable. And ones that you resonate with more. So as well, how these work is obviously to set the intention, to set the fact that you're asking your guides these questions, and they might not feel that you're just ready at the minute to have it face to face in that dialogue. So what they might do is bring it to you in a different way. So you might see that you start to read an article, or you see an Instagram post, you see a Facebook post, you hear somebody talking about something. There can be all sorts of ways that things get fed through to you. Like I said, Kath said last night she had a dream. So it come through in a dream. So just be thinking about, just be open to the fact that these answers can come through at any point. So just be open to that it didn't have to come in that one session, but we've kind of opened the floodgates to let it flow in. And you might know the answer as well, Mandy. So what we were talking about before, some of that might resonate with you and think, yeah, I am a people pleaser. I'm not putting up any boundaries. I'm not doing the things that fill me with joy. I'm doing the things that help everybody else but myself. So some of it we might know already, and they might be thinking, well, she's just told you that, so, you know, listen. There's different ways it all comes through. So Casey, I just pictured a tall guy with dark hair, and I got a feel in my arm when I asked if the ancestor. Oh, all right. So definitely an ancestor then, if you got that gut feeling. So that's good. Did you get any answers to your questions? Did anything come through? Felt good to briefly escape to someplace nice. The female angel came as one of my former colleagues at work. Oh, that's so nice, Oswald. And you know what? This is the thing. So some of when you think of our ancestors and we think of people from past lives and things like that, we have these soul contracts, and this is what's come up in the card tonight. So when your angel is coming through as a co-worker, it could often be that co-worker is part of your soul group, and you might have reincarnated in different lives with these people, and they've all come to play a different role in this one. And that's what often happens. So we have these contracts that we make well before we come to this life, and that's my belief. Everybody else's might be different, but that's how I take the soul's journey anyway. So what was your main take from tonight? Is there anything that's really resonated with you that you feel, yeah, that's something I need to change, or something I need to adapt? Is it some of the things, the boundaries and things like that I talked about, or is it the checking in with your body and feeling that right or wrong decision? So Casey, no answers. I feel calm, but now a feeling in my heart. Good. I hope that's a good feeling. Yeah, I hope it's a good one for you. And what's your main takeaway from tonight? Has anybody got one that they want to share? We've got a couple of minutes before we finish. Any questions you want answered? And again, if you're watching the replay, just pop in, say that you're watching the replay and you want, what happened for you, what happened in the meditation, what do you want to share? I know there's quite a few people in America that'll still be at work. I know Oswald probably is. So yeah, just let me know when you have been able to listen to it. Right, between my heart and my throat. Okay. So that's, I would say, is, are you connected to both? So you've got your heart chakra, and you might be, doing things that, are you doing things that make you feel good? Do you feel like you're speaking your truth? We've talked a lot about boundaries and setting good boundaries tonight. So that's all about speaking your truth. And often, if we get this clag here, we can feel things are off, and it's because we're not speaking our truth. Yeah, you can do it again later. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself, because these energy healings are strong. So think about drinking lots of water, maybe have an Epsom salt bath, do things that, get out in nature, have a walk. Obviously, it's like 9 o'clock here in the UK, so you might not be doing that on this cold night, but just do things that are gonna, reinvigorate your energy. So lots of water. You might need a bit more salt, just things like that to take care of yourself. And then what I'll do, I'll just set the assignment for tonight as well, which is just basically telling me how you feel things in your gut. So we've done that exercise in this tonight, so you should know from what we did. So what's the right answer, what's the wrong answer for your body, and how do you feel about, does that feel comfortable? Can you start listening to that? And also, if you got anything out of that meditation, so any answers to any questions, and just what you felt really, and just a bit of an update of how you connected in. And that's all really from tonight. If you want me to go over anything, please just pop questions in the group, pop any posts, any signs, anything like that, and we'll go over them tomorrow. So hopefully you'll have loads of good things coming through for you tonight, and you'll see signs and different things, numbers, that type of thing. I see them all the time, and they're just telling you you're on the right track, things are happening, things are shifting. They'll be telling you that you're expanding, like the card. So let me know if you're seeing any of these signs, or things are changing for you, things are popping up. Just let me know what's happening, and I will join you tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to have a look at limiting beliefs. So we've gone into kind of a lot of keeping you, how your past keeps you stuck, a lot around boundaries and, things that can stop you feeling powerful, and where you're giving away your power. And then tomorrow we're going to go more into limiting beliefs and how we can maybe start to release some of them. So hopefully you'll get a lot out of tomorrow as well. Oh, well, that's a good way to finish your day, Oswald. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. And I will pop up tonight's assignment, but you guys who's joined me, you've done most of it, so that's great. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know. I'd love any feedback, because I want to know I'm serving you the best way I can. So please, any feedback, anything you want to share with me, just pop it all in the group and let us know. Okay, speak to you tomorrow. Bye.